Hello everyone and welcome to this new CATIA Design Masterclass. In this format, our CATIA experts will discuss the special features of our software in detail to help you innovate in your daily job and take your design to the next level. Today, visualization is key to accurately assessing, modifying, and validating the quality of your final product, including elements like materials, colors, or even surfaces. And of course, this visualization of your concepts needs to take place at any stage of the design phase so that you can make the right decision quickly without wasting time with data transfer or preparation. And that's why a robust integrated VR solutions is essential for design studios today. And to discuss how to overcome these challenges, I have the pleasure of welcoming on stage our CATIA VR experts, Hugo BARBA-LATA and Michael ADRIAN. Hello, guys.
Hello, Alan.
everyone.
Hello, all.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us today. So before to start, maybe can you do a quick introduction of yourself, starting by you, Hugo?
Yeah, I'm Hugo BARBA-LATA. I'm a team leader of expert into CATIA design application. So it starts from creative design, the first refinement, and what we call product experience, which is about visualization and immersive solutions. And beside me, I have my colleagues, Michael and Adrian. Michael?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Adrian. I'm in the team of Hugo BARBA-LATA, working in the area of product experience. So everything around visualization in general, and in particular for me, in everything virtual reality.
All right, thank you guys for this quick introduction. Before to start, I would also like to remind our viewers that they can ask their questions directly in the chat during the session because we'll take some time to answer them at the end during a dedicated Q&A session. So let's jump into the content now, and I will start with you, Michael, with the first question. Why is visualization on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform so different from any other solution?
Well, there are many answers to this question, but let me give you two of the most important ones from my point of view. First and foremost, we really need to understand that at every moment in the design process, we are dealing with native CATIA data. And to illustrate the huge impact of this approach, I want to show you how the process looks with traditional VR tools, as you might know them, if you are working with virtual reality and visualization. So this is a very simple diagram of the traditional process. In the beginning, we have some sort of 3D data coming from a CAD software or modeling package whatsoever. And we want to visualize this data. And in order to do that, we need to convert it, which means we need to transfer the data structure from one to another. We need to trim, clean, tessellate. So we need to turn the data into something that the visualization engine can digest. And when this process is done, we can finally visualize our experience in VR. Then we do our review, we find some issues, information goes upstream back to engineering, design, manufacturing, whatsoever, modifications are made, and the whole process starts over again. There are a few drawbacks with this approach. First of all, it needs an expert to configure the data conversion part. This is not an easy thing, and it's really tricky to match material stuff and stuff. And if some module in the pipeline changes, say there is an update to some software, it needs to be corrected accordingly. So the process itself can take a very long time to accomplish, depending on the size of the model. So if you imagine a complete cruise ship or a passenger plane can take hours or even days to be ready for visualization. And consequently, at the time the model is reviewed, it might already be outdated. And last but not least, usually there are no features taken into account besides geometry and material. So maybe you will also get some cameras and lights, but that's it. And what you get is it's not even a copy of your original data. It's a dull model. This is what I call it, or it's a lookalike thing. So it doesn't know its context, it doesn't know its constraints, its kinematics, or any other properties. This list goes on, and we'll see shortly how we overcome these drawbacks with our integrated approach on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. But here is how the process looks on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. No data conversion or special preparation is needed. We can instantly review native data, whether it's CATIA, Delmia, or a Simulia app. XR is built into the very heart of the platform, and it's available in almost every 3D app. And because we're looking at native data, content is not restricted to geometry. It can be kinematics simulation results, or material flow simulation of a factory layout. We can even combine data from different sources into one presentation. See later on. Here is just some examples. The first one is showing native CATIA kinematics in action. So usually with a traditional tool, you need to create these animations, you need to define the constraints and so forth. So lots of work. But here in the 3DEXPERIENCE, we just play the kinematics that were defined by engineering and which are part of the CATIA product. And if you start a VR review, you will experience the current version of your dataset and not an outdated lookalike. You can even modify the data while the session is running, like it's shown in this video. Here, the surface of the tank of the motorbike is modified, and these modifications are shown in real time in the running VR session. Another example from another domain. This is a simple reachability test. So the user cannot reach the handrail of this valve, and the position of the object is corrected in a native CATIA client. And so this information can then go back to to the engineers, and they can modify the model accordingly. So come on, next slide. So this way, it's ensured that every stakeholder in the process is really getting the same information.
All right. And then you mentioned the second advantage earlier. What is this second one?
Yeah. The second advantage is not as obvious, but if you imagine you're using visualization in a larger context, like in a big design studio, it becomes a crucial factor. It's all about materials and how they are displayed in different render modes or in different render engines. Because even if you load the same material into different tools, it is not guaranteed that its appearance is consistent across these tools. That's because of the way the material is handled internally in the engine. It's a bit like shooting the same image with different cameras. Even if you set the same parameters and use the same lens, you will never get the exact same results. So on 3DEXPERIENCE, as shown in this slide, we have three different render modes, which are tailored to different use cases. There is the real-time rasterizer for interactive rendering and XR. There is Stellar Interactive for real-time ray tracing for quick examination of lighting, reflections, and refractions. And there is Stellar Physically Correct, or Stellar GI, for high-end ray tracing and global global illumination. There's a fourth one, which is WebGL for 3D real-time renderings on web-based clients, but this one's not listed here. And here comes the advantage. Not only can you easily activate the render mode that fits your need by a mouse click, moreover, the material model on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform ensures that every user will get a consistent look independent from the currently selected render mode. Of course, within the boundaries, what is technically possible in this render mode. But let's see this nice side-by-side comparison where you get Stellar Real-Time on the left, Stellar Interactive in the middle, and Stellar GI on the right. The same thing with a moving camera. By the way, the noise that you see on the right part of the screen is coming from the way it's rendered, because it's ray tracing, and when the camera is moving, the engine just doesn't have enough time to calculate the complete image. But as soon as the camera stops, the AI denoiser kicks in, and the image becomes clear rapidly. Okay, so these are my two favorite advantages.
All right, and there are really nice advantages. Also, something really important when it comes to VR and even augmented and mixed reality is headset. So what HMDs are currently supported on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform?
Yeah. What you see here is are the headsets that we support on 3DEXPERIENCE platform. For VR, the HTC Vive is more or less our reference model. And for mixed reality, it's the Varjo XR family. But the other headsets that you can see here are also supported. Controllers might work a bit different, but basically you can use each of these headsets. You use them together with HTC, for example, together with SteamVR, the MetaQuest, together with whatever software it uses. Don't know, never used the MetaQuest, but it works in a similar way. So you start your standard VR software, and in parallel you run the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And as long as these headsets talk OpenXR, everything's fine. So that's the current state with HMDs.
Okay, and also I know that it exists some more advanced setups like Powerwall or Cave. Can you say a few words about it?
Yeah. We are supporting Powerwall and Cave setups out of the box with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. There is no additional software needed. Here is a this doesn't start automatically. Here is a nice little video which was done in the Lives Cave in Tbilisi, in our headquarter, showing a living room scenario. And again, this is native CATIA data. It's the same as with HMDs. There is no preparation. It's the only difference is instead of clicking the HMD command icon, you click the Cave command icon. Of course, these things need to be configured. It's a bit tricky, always depending on the hardware. This is not plug and play, but we can offer some support for the configuration. So if you have questions about how you can use your setup with 3DEXPERIENCE, please let us know, and we will help you with the configuration.
All right, so thank you for this great overview of VR capabilities. Now maybe let's put it in context. You said that you can show us how easily you can use VR in CATIA. So can you show us an example of this usage?
So I prepared a little demo. I don't want to give you a full demo. Just want to show how easy it is to start VR. So what you see here is a native CATIA app on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. In this case, it is CATIA Live Rendering, but again, can be any 3D client on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And at the bottom here, you can see there are different tabs which are offering the features in this app. And one tab that you have in almost every 3D app is the AR VR button. And here you can see we got Powerwall, Cave, HMD, and some other scenarios. And I want to show you how easy it is to start a VR session. In order to do this, I need to switch my equipment. I have my XR Elite besides me. Cross your fingers, everything works as planned. Only little problem is I can't talk while I'm wearing the headset, because for whatever reason the microphone doesn't work. So Ugo will talk you a bit over this quick demo. So let me just switch my equipment back in a minute.
All right.
So while Michael is doing this VR demo, As he was explaining, we have here a native CATIA model. It's not showing on the left the CATIA tree, but we have the original data with all the mathematics. And you saw in some videos before, if you do some modeling change, you will get it on screen, but also into your VR headset. So with the AR VR tab, he has into HMD configuration, pick the HMD connected, and then the platform will automatically communicate with the headset and with your the software providers. Could be Steam VR or Varjo based. It depends of the hardware, the headset you use. So then it just activate HMD commands, and then this is what he see into his headset. So you can at the same time see on screen the model and see with a VR view what he's experiencing into VR. So you see we have exactly the same models, the same surface and material quality. You can also play with different visual quality. We will explain this. Here you see the three different capabilities with a native HMD command. The first one is called navigation. We have Product Explorer, but also cameras. So let's see which one he will pick. So he starts with cameras. You see here we have predefined cameras that you can configure exactly with the right coordinates. And this camera can be called on the fly with this interface which is attached to your controllers. So if you want to define a design review with being stand up beside the car, being at the exact position of the driver, the passenger, this is something possible. And then you have this way of exploring. So you select and you can explore around. By the way, if you want to have advanced scenario, we can do some seat buck alignment using trackers. So what you see here is starting to navigate. We have three ways of navigating. The first one is to walk. Walk meaning you still keep the same Z8. But if you use the two controllers, you have also a different way by air grabbing, which means you can rotate, go up, down, or move. We also have the fly mode, which gives you all the freedom to navigate upward, downwards, backwards. And you see beside these controllers, we have this small arrow, blue one, which is showing the direction and orientation you will take. So it's a very, very easy interface and way of navigating you have offered into the platform. I guess he just removed his headset.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really good. And thank you, Michael.
Okay, I'm back.
Thank you, Hugo and Michael, for this little demo. But it's really interesting to see the basic VR capabilities we have in 3DEXPERIENCE CATIA. And what does the 3DEXPERIENCE platform offer beyond these basic VR features? I'm sure there are a lot more to present.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Just to wrap it up, or just to explain how this is divided. What you've seen so far is the VR feature set, which is, as I already mentioned, embedded in every 3D app. So whether it's 3D Excite, Simulia, Delmia, CATIA, you get these capabilities built in. On the other hand, within the CATIA brand, we have some specific VR apps which are somehow tailored around these VR capabilities, but not only. And they offer specific functionality. And now let's have a look on these specific VR features, like in Human Studio or Product Perception Experience. And for this, I'll hand over to Ugo BARBA-LATA, who will give you more insights here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I guess you can see my screen?
Yes, that's good now.
Okay, perfect. So yes, what Michael was explaining, we have this native HMD integration and the classic HMD command by navigation, Product Explorer, and cameras. But I also want to explain you that in CATIA, we have some application which has some specific VR skill sets. The first one is called CATIA Human Design. And with this application, I will show you what we can do on screen, but also in VR. We can place virtual humans to give some context around or onto humans, because you can also wear some jewels, a watch, wearables device, but also you can explore a cockpit, you can explore an interior, so it could also serve for architectures. So what we have first is to create a human. We have generative humans where you can play with different morphology, edges. So you see with this nice interface, you can quickly create the right humans. Then you will place him. So you see here we have placed these virtual humans into a car cockpit. And on the right, you have the interface where you can have predefined postures, but you can also custom these postures by selecting these cubes. So you see here, we can move the bones, we can move these cubes, and we have automatic grab capabilities. We can analyze different postures. So with the sliders you see on the right, you can smoothly move from one posture to another one to see how your humans is moving. And the red was showing the intersection with the surrounding, with beside geometries. You can go in first person view, still play with this smooth transition to see if you can watch, if you can perceive a button, an icon, or objects you have to interact with. Interacting, you can also have the human to follow some predefined kinematics, but you can also grab and move objects. So this is what we can do on screen, but let's check what we can do into VR. So with human incarnation VR, with an headset and two controllers, the first thing would be to incarnate the upper body of the human. As you can see on the right, two controllers and one headset, you can explore your surrounding and you have your virtual avatars, meaning you have a representation of a virtual body. You are not lost into your 3D space. In terms of capabilities, we have the grab and move objects. So you see with this highlight, you see that you can reach and grab this object. With the controller, you press the trigger and then you can move objects around. So it's interesting to see if you can reach, if you can move, where you will place objects around you. If you have multi-trackers, so we can have more we can have 9 trackers on top of your two controllers and your headsets. You have this quick way of calibrating, and then you see we fully incarnate the humans. So then what you can do by incarnating, you have the full freedom to move around your virtual geometries. And combining with grabbing objects, you can record a specific postures, but here we are recording the full body motions, meaning that you can explore. Here this the trunk with objects, and you can start to grab and move objects to see if you have enough space, enough room to operate. And when you have recorded all of this, you stop your VR sessions, and everything is saved into your CATIA tree. So here, what we see on screen, we have the capabilities and the freedom to navigate around and replay what you have record your body motions and the objects you have moved. So it's a way to review how you will incarnate and explore the product you have designed. And this onto geometry you have designed like minutes ago because of no conversions. So here again, you see on the left in the CATIA tree, the human is an object. Inside you have all the custom postures or the postures you have recorded into VR sessions. You can smoothly play between different two postures. And then, again, capabilities to navigate around and get closed, meaning that someone will have a natural, immersive experience incarnating a humans, and nobody around will disturb him. And then on screen, you can smoothly replay what he have experienced. When you record an animation, as you can see, we have the animation set on the left, and on the bottom, we have these animation lines. So again, you select the animations you want to review. You just play, you navigate around, and with the timelines, you can move smoothly the arrow, and you can select a specific key, a specific seconds of your experience, and you can extract the postures. So it's interesting that what you did before, it's not a lost experience. You can record and share with the relevant department into your company. So it was CATIA Human Design. And the second one I want to detail you today is Product Experience Presenter. So this is a real-time experience where you will insert your product and you will create some variability and exploration of your models. So how it looks like on screen? You will see we have this very nice interface with some thumbnails. This thumbnails is about variants. So on the left, we had some variants of cameras. We have some package. Package can trigger some variants of geometries, position of geometries, materials. We also have variants of human. It's not shown into this video. So you see here, we have the virtual the virtual model. And by clicking on objects, I can trigger some kinematics. I can also load some configuration. So you see, using the Stellar real-time engine into this application, I can quickly show different package of color and trim, selecting the thumbnail, and quickly watch the variability of the product. And still, again, with this very nice quality. And with my mouse, I can click on objects to trigger some variants. But now, how it translates when you jump into your VR session with your headset? With the features Perception Experience VR, then with the controllers, you have the capabilities to interact with the models. If you have defined an object in your scene, it will be a trigger of a variant. With the controllers, you can pick. So here I'll pick the interior panel of my door and I will close it. By the way, you see we have real-time reflections, meaning combining all the Stellar real-time capabilities into your headset. You have a way to experience and explore and review your models. What you saw before was highlighting the triggers, meaning you give the headset to someone, he can highlight objects with which he can interact to switch variants. You can do this with your controllers, but of course, thanks to mixed reality and hand tracking capabilities, with your finger, you can select objects. So here I've defined this object to switch off car paints, and this one to quickly check some different exhaust variants. You also have the capabilities to move objects. So into your experience, you define the objects you want to trigger, to use, and to move. With the controllers, you see, you get close, they will be highlighted in orange, and then you can select them one by one and move them. What you do with your controller, of course, you can select it with your hands. So if you get your controllers away of your HMD, then the headset will detect your fingers. And with these two spheres, you see you will pick and move objects smoothly. So again, everything you do with controllers can be done with your finger. A last thing which is very interesting, if you are exploring, you can capture a viewpoint. If you have a viewpoint you want to share, to render later, if you want to produce an image, you can create viewpoint, or you can also create stage. So you will define, you will toggle through different variant hypotheses. So here we are playing with geometries, with stitch colors and fabrics, and then you capture your stage. When you stop your VR sessions, this new window will show up. You have the viewpoint you have created, but also the stage, which is reflecting a configuration you have defined during your VR experience. Meaning you can, with your headset, define the configuration you want to pick and share later. So it was the two applications I wanted to explain you, CATIA Human Design and Product Perception Experience. To explain you the strengths and value we have into the virtual reality into 3DEXPERIENCE platform CATIA. What Michael explained you, we don't have to data prep, optimize, decimate, tessellate geometries. We don't have to play with lighting and to decrease the quality of our materials. You press HMD command anytime you jump into VR. It's embedded. It's a one-click solutions, as he has demonstrated you some minutes ago during the VR live sessions. We are flexible to a lot of hardware and device. So we are flexible to a lot of graphic cards. We are flexible to laptop, desktop. So what it means, you have one single product that you can share into your company, and this is the hardware which will be flexible to display and get you a decent and good performance immersive experience. You don't have to get crazy hardwares or to decrease the quality of your models. And as you saw, Michael explained you, we support many HMDs on the market. So this is the strength and value we wanted to share with you today. And this leads to the end of our sessions. So it's time for your question and answer.
Yes, thank you very much, Hugo and Michael, for this really insightful presentation. It's really great to see all these VR capabilities to visualize accurately, at scale, easily, quickly, as you mentioned. So great outcome, actually, for designers and engineers. And so, as Hugo said, it's time for the Q&A session. So please ask your questions in the chat of the session, and we will answer them. And I've already seen a lot of questions. Actually, I've seen you, Michael, answering to some of them. So maybe just to do a reminder for people who didn't see the answer in the chat. One question was, what kind of machine GPU are you using in the live demo? So it's a Lenovo P16.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's one of the latest Lenovo laptops. It's the P16, I think. But the graphics card, which is more important here, is an RTX 5000 ADA. So I think that's the top spec laptop. But also with, as Ugo mentioned, also with weaker hardware, there are lots of possibilities to adapt to your machine. Like with visual quality, where you can set the parameters for the rendering, as you might know from computer games, where you can switch on and off some very performance intensive features, and thus getting a good performance. Right, but of course, the more iron you can throw at the problem, the better it is. So the faster it'll render, of course.
All right. Then I've seen also a lot of positive feedbacks around this application and VR capabilities in CATIA. It's really awesome. Users can create and analyze virtual models of products, allowing for early identification of potential issues and optimizing designs. That's an example.
Yeah.
Also, I've seen also some questions regarding latest updates and improvements. So if you want to know more about that, and especially with the new 25X release, we invite you to watch the dedicated webinar that took place at the beginning of the year. So we will put the link on LinkedIn and YouTube after the live, of course, if you want to access it.
In two words, it's a question from 24X to 25X. What we have bring, so we have integrated some latest NVIDIA technologies, DLSS and DLAA, to display, to have a better performance and frame rate into your headset. The hand tracking is also, which comes in 25X as new, and also the capabilities of recording, a better predictability of the motion of the body motion of the human, and into PPX to create a nice triggering objects. Every release bring new features on screen, but also new performances increased into headset.
We also get real-time reflections, I think, with 25X, right?
Yeah, right. Real-time reflection and the quality of shadow was also improved into the engine.
All right. So yes, thank you for this quick explanation. And so if you want to know more, we will put the link of the full webinar if you want to go deeper into the latest capabilities. Is there any other questions for our experts? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't know if you wanted to add something, Hugo.
I see a question about the Apple Vision Pro. Let's pick this one. Yeah, no.
Right.
So Dassault is hardly working to integrate the Apple Vision Pro. As you saw these devices, you will have a clear, crazy freedom with the spatial computing. As of today, we are finalizing the integration. You saw some first prototype into web, into some announcements. What will happen? We will use an experience where we will put the product inside. We will define as experience objects you will trigger, kinematics, animation you will play. And with a given scenario, then we will output the experience out of the platform, put it into a Vision OS application, and then you will wear your Apple Vision Pro headset, and on the fly you will have a dedicated experience with spatial computing. So the integration will be finalized soon, and it will be possible to output your data into the Apple Vision Pro.
All right. Thank you for this explanation, Hugo. Is there any other questions for our experts before to close? I think we are good for today. So yes, let's close the Q&A session for today. So thank you to all of you who watched this CATIA Design Masterclass today. And we hope that you found this masterclass informative and engaging, especially thanks to our experts, Hugo and Michael. So thank you to both of you for your participation.
Pleasure.
So if you want to watch the replay of the CATIA Design Masterclass, we encourage you to visit our CATIA Creative Design and Styling community, whose link appears right now at the bottom of your screen. You will be able to access the replay, but also tutorials, tips and tricks, demonstrations, and also to ask your questions to our experts and to thousands of users who use CATIA on their daily job. And also a second reminder is that our main design event of the year is coming really close on June 4 and 5 in Munich. It's called the CATIA Creative Design and Engineering Days. So if you want to register and take part of these 2 days dedicated to presentations, networking, and also exchanging with CATIA experts, please register with the link that is also at the bottom of the screen right now. And finally, please let us know your feedback in the comments. It's really important for us in order to improve our next CATIA Design Masterclasses. And until then, I wish you a good day and goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.